Now, the term and the concept of synchronicity was first introduced by the famous, and I would even say groundbreaking, analytical psychologist Carl Gustav Jung, referring to such events as meaningful coincidences. It is believed that these seemingly unrelated occurrences are experienced together and have an underlying purpose or deeper meaning or message for the experiencer. Now that we cleared all this up, let's explore some examples of such occurrences in our lives, shall we? So, maybe the most common synchronistic event is repeating number patterns. I'm sure many of you are familiar with Doreen Virtue's angel numbers, where in her book, she gives spiritual meaning to repeating number patterns. Now, it is important to know that Doreen also used to exclusively write about New Age topics, but in 2017, she rejected her New Age spiritual beliefs and became a born-again Christian. Make of that what you will. Another form of similar synchronicity is seeing the same symbols or animals or objects repeatedly, or hearing the same song or songs with a similar meaning or similar lyrics that convey the same message to you, or thinking of someone you haven't seen in ages, someone you are not in contact with regularly or haven't talked to for a long while, and then they just randomly show up out of nowhere. Or you think of a friend, and the next moment your phone pings and they messaged you. Or needing to find a solution to a problem, and out of nowhere, a solution presents itself. Also a synchronistic event. Or to a certain extent, having a vision or a dream about an event, and later you either hear about it or you actually experience it. Now, this is considered a synchronistic event, but it also falls under the category of premonition. But premonition is a whole different topic, perhaps maybe for a later episode. Or going through something in your life and seemingly out of nowhere, you meet someone who either has experienced what you're going through now or experiencing the same thing. And this brings you either a sense of connectedness or perhaps a piece of vital information that helps you overcome that particular challenge that you're experiencing. Now, this is a kind of synchronicity, yes. It can also be tied to the law of attraction, or how like attracts like, or things or people on the same vibration will attract each other. But once again, that could be a whole different topic for another episode. Or you're witnessing an event or experiencing a bizarre chain of events that lead you to someone or something that you've been asking about or even been praying for, so to speak. That's also a synchronistic event. And similarly, coming to a sudden realization about yourself or recognizing a pattern in your behavior or in your life that is essentially an answer or a key to something that you've been struggling with, perhaps. So these are some, in my opinion, good examples of synchronicities or synchronistic events in our lives. And as Mr. Jung said, synchronicity is an ever-present reality for those who have eyes to see. But now you may ask just why synchronicities happen and what should we do about it? Well, it seems that synchronistic events occur as a way for the universe or our spirit guide team or our guardian angels or God or our higher self or whatever we want to call it to communicate with us, to guide us on our spiritual journey. Now, most synchronistic events fall into other categories, as I've mentioned earlier, like premonition or deja vu, or relate to some universal law that governs us. Some believe that we live in a holographic universe and that everything gets reflected back to us. After all, our thoughts, beliefs, and intentions are the building blocks of our reality. There is also the theory of the collective unconscious that we tap into time to time again, or even the Akashic records, where everything that ever has happened, thought, or felt, or is going to happen, or going to be thought or felt, is stored on the mental plane. And some of us sometimes, and sometimes randomly, gain access to it. Or there is the idea of divine timing or kairos. One thing is for sure, that we are always manifesting our experiences and events that align with our current mental and emotional state. And synchronistic events are a good indicator of just where we are at mentally and emotionally on our evolutionary paths. Synchronistic events happen in a seemingly random way, or most certainly are beyond our control, or at least our conscious control. I've noticed that people who are freshly awakened, or newly awakened, or just awakened, so to speak, for lack of a better term, get really carried away with synchronistic events. And this is understandable. So, here are some suggestions that I would like to make in regards to that. If you are someone who is kind of new to this concept or experiencing this rapidly in your life. Number one is when you see it, acknowledge it. Nothing more, nothing less. Recognize and appreciate the synchronistic event for what it is, an occurrence that perhaps carries a deeper meaning or it has purpose just for you. Then number two is to stay in the flow. Stay in the flow, meaning that don't try to influence how and when synchronistic events can happen in your life, because it will sabotage the process. Number three, I would say, is to keep a synchronicity journal or to make room for it in your mindfulness or spiritual journal, because it will help you be able to look at the big picture later, and perhaps it can lead you to a deeper meaning and help you expand your understanding. And then number four would be to reflect on the meaning without forcing it to have a meaning. And this can be tricky, I know, but especially if you're new to the concept and experience, trusting the process really helps, meaning that if the meaningful occurrence or that synchronicity is really a synchronicity and it has something for you, it will show up repeatedly so you understand what is going on. So try not to force it. Let it happen naturally. And then number five is this: take caution or take action if the synchronicity seems to be offering you guidance or direction, and take action in alignment with the message or insight you receive. Or to take caution if it seems to be protecting you in some way or form. Now, this is a very deeply intuitive process, and it may lead you to make decisions or take action or change something in your life, or perhaps even to reach out to somebody. Now, synchronicities can provide wonderful guidance and are certainly a great indicator of just where we are at in our lives. But as always, I would advise that you take caution and don't act on impulse. Understanding the synchronistic events in our lives is a practice, and it is almost like an extra sense, and it takes time and it takes practice to get to know and to get to understand the meaning and perhaps the guidance it is offering. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed this topic, and if so, remember to like, to share, and to subscribe. And I'll leave you with all of this for now. But I hope to see you next time.